Hey guys, one of the big three is looking at rice. So by now we've talked about corn, we've talked about wheat, we've realized that wheat is chock full of gluten, that protein that a lot of people cannot tolerate due to either gluten allergy or things like celiac disease that necessitate that they entirely cut that out of their diet. But things like rice and corn are healthful alternatives so long as they're not processed in the same plants where the wheat has been processed. So here's some examples of products that contain rice. A staple of many diets around the world is undoubtedly white rice or brown rice. Remember, brown rice has the bran and germ, whereas this white rice that's been refined here, those two things have been removed. A lot of people tend to prefer the flavor of white rice because it tastes a little less earthy for people that find that it's a little stronger pungent. And the white rice does last longer, and that's one of the reasons why I tend to buy it, is because it has a longer shelf life. The oils in the bran and the germ tend to go rancid rather quickly, so brown rice isn't one of these that has a very long shelf life compared to white rice. White rice, again, despite the fact that more than 2 billion people rely on this as a major sustenance in their daily diet, it's not something unlike the corn that I've talked about and unlike the wheat that I've talked about that's used for animal feed. So a funny story, once I was cooking rice and I added way too much of it. I dumped a bunch down the drain and it literally turned into cement in my drain. So yeah, here, then I gotta figure out, do I chop it up? Do I pull it out? Do I add drain? I didn't know what to do. And that's probably a lot of the basis behind why we do not, it actually isn't probably, it is a large basis why we should not use this as animal feed, again, because it expands and turns into a very hard cement-like substance. So you've probably heard that we shouldn't throw rice at weddings because, again, it will kill any animal, especially birds that might try to eat the rice grains, the Caryopsis. So just a little aside on that, and don't make the mistake that I made. If you've overcooked a batch of rice, don't put it down the drain. You'll forgive yourself later, but it's not fun. The rice vinegar is delectable. A lot of people aren't very familiar with seasoned rice vinegar, but it's probably one of the more flavorful vinegars out there contained from rice. Just like we get rice beer like sake, for example, the rice vinegar is an awesome product. A lot of different crackers actually contain brown rice in them. For those of us like me that actually like that earthy flavor of brown rice, you find that it actually is a great flavor in a cracker, for example. So I think tonight before dinner I'm going to have some cheese and crackers. I'm going to try these ones out right here. Top ingredient in these is brown rice, and again, a great alternative for people that have health issues that preclude them from eating gluten, especially celiac disease, but also for some people, gluten allergy. There are some people that have a very severe gluten allergy that can necessitate that EpiPen. How about another product that contains brown rice that you don't think of all that often, and that's going to be brown rice syrup. So we've all heard of corn syrup and how it's very sweet, or even the one that my husband loves, which is high fructose corn syrup, which is highly modified to taste super sweet. That's in his Coca-Cola that he drinks every day. Well, here's the deal. The brown rice syrup, guys, tastes really sweet. And so I think it's the top ingredient in this granola bar right here. And to some people that really buy into nutritionism and marketing, they like the idea better of eating, let's say, the brown rice syrup versus the corn syrup. To some people, it just sounds healthier for whatever reason. Okay, even though at the end of the day, sugars are sugars, right? Now let's get to again the idea that this is the basis in a lot of different dishes around the world. Whether enjoying Thai food, Japanese food, Vietnamese food, Chinese food, a lot of these will employ rice-based noodles, where rice is one of the main ingredients in those noodles. And that's what you guys can see for a couple examples here, making this, again, and rounding this out to be a very useful crop, a very useful grain that is a large sustainment of our population.